Yes. Hey guys, we've got Jalen Holland and Felix DeSaris. We'll go ahead and open up for questions.
Felix, what was maybe the halftime message from Tad? Obviously, you guys were able to turn it on there in the second half.
You know, I think the main message was just our defense was the biggest thing on first half. Kind of went to a slow start, and we just knew second half we just had to pressure the ball and kind of speed them up. So.
Jalen, only 15 minutes, we got the highest plus minus on the team at positive 18. What were you able to do so well today to be so effective?
Just make the open plays and find my teammates when open and drive and attack.
Felix, I just want to ask about your mindset going into that later half of the second half. What kind of made you turn that switch?
It all starts on the defensive end. I think us being able to just guard the ball and help each other out and communicate. That was the biggest push that translated to our offense.
Jalen, it seemed like you and a lot of the rest of the team was more aggressive attacking the rim in that second half. Was that a point of emphasis?
Yeah. Along with defense, that was definitely a point of emphasis, just to be more aggressive.
For either of you guys, obviously you're not used to playing a team that only has guys 6'5" to 6'7". Was it weird at all playing a kind of positionless lineup on the other side?
It was a lot of switching 1 through 5, so they did a lot of slips, so we got to get adjusted to that.
You guys had the full court press that was pretty successful in that second half. How much do you think that kind of disrupted the offensive rhythm of the Braves?
I think it disrupted them a lot. Especially playing at altitude. Get a little fatigue. So picking up full court and just speeding them up helped a lot.
Jalen, excuse me, I know this wasn't a real game, but how did it feel just to put the jersey on, have fans in the stands, and kind of make your Buffalo's debut today?
Yeah, it was amazing actually. Just all this coming together, seeing it from summer, being here, it's great.
And for either of you, did Elijah talk to the team at all about playing his whole team? What was the message from him in the last few days or even earlier today?
He's just really helpful for the scouting report. I feel like he would just tell us who we got to watch out for, kind of thing, who's shooting, who's a shooter, who's not, and stuff like that. So.
Felix, I know you played in the exhibition last year against D3 promoted Pitzer, but playing against an NAIA team, was there anybody that stood out or surprised you on the other side? I know you probably don't know names, but any numbers or anything like that?
Not at the top of my head, but they play real good fundamental basketball. They move really well, so. Yeah.
Okay, we good? Anything else? Okay, all right, good. We'll be coach here in a second. Everybody, Tad Boyle, please start with an opening statement, and then we'll open up for questions.
Yeah, look, these exhibitions, scrimmages, whatever you want to call them, are obviously an opportunity for us to learn, kind of see where we are, what we have to get better at, and kind of a midterm exam, if you will, I think, is how I kind of look at it. And obviously it was kind of a tale of two halves. For some reason, in the first half, it seemed like we had some nerves. We were tired. Like we weren't the team that was in better shape. You know, we jumped on them 7-0, and then they come back. It's up, 9-7. I had to call a timeout. When they had 9 unanswered points. And again, this team is figuring out that defense is where it's got to be. I told them, after the game, that first half, okay, if we're struggling to shoot the ball like we did, we're struggling to score the ball and finish the ball at the rim, then we better have energy on the other end. And, that should have been 34-28 or, they scored 29 points in the second half. We do that defensively in the first half. We're up by 5 at halftime, even though we were really, really poor offensively for whatever reason. Because this team, obviously you saw in the second half, we can score the ball, we can get it going. We got multiple guys that can do that. So, but we just don't have that defensive mindset that we need to have. It was tied in rebounding in the first half. That can't happen. We should dominate this team on the boards, but we didn't. And credit to Grace. Those kids are tough and they're well coached, and Indiana kids could shoot the ball. We told our team beforehand. We didn't do a lot of personnel scouting on this one because you got to figure it out. But I just assume every one of the guys you're guarding can shoot it. You figure that out as the game goes. But we gave up 5 made threes in the first half and 8 layups. So 23 of their 37 first half points came off 3-point shots or layups, and we got to take those things away. Make them beat us with tough shots at the rim or over our length.
Coach, you mentioned maybe some nerves or jitters out of the gate. How much of that is a product of 7 freshmen, a couple other guys that, moving up a level? And
yeah.
Andrew's never played yet.
Right.
And better to maybe get that out of the way now than in a few weeks. That's
one of the reasons we do an exhibition and a scrimmage and not 2 scrimmages, Pat, is because, you put the uniform on. Even, look, the Broncos are playing. It's mid-October. Nobody's thinking about basketball right now. So, I think that people that were here probably like our second half team a lot better than they liked our first half team. But that's why you do this. You put the uniform on. There's some people in the stands, and you get those jitters out. Again, we played 4 games in Australia against grown men who were, against the Boomers in the Gold Coast, and that, played in front of 5,000 fans that were cheering against us. So I would like to think that those jitters were taken out this summer. But look, they're still young. It's they're at home and they want to play well, and so yeah, there was definitely some jitters, and it's maybe I'm a little naive still on our youth, because I'm never going to use our youth as an excuse this year, win or lose. But we showed some youth there that first half for sure. But hopefully, again, we learned from that, and we'll have a hell of a scrimmage next weekend against Marquette, who will be a little bit better than Grace was. But I got a lot of respect for Grace College, not only as an institution, but their coach and the kids they recruit. So it was good for us, and I think it was good for them.
On Friday, you talked about the emphasis on applying pressure both offensively with pace play, but on defense with ball pressure. I feel like I kind of guessed how you felt with the tale of 2 halves, but how did you feel about the pressure on both sides of the ball today? Yeah,
on first half, awful, non-existent, very little talk. Just wasn't that edge. There was no presence. There was no identity on defense. Second half, I thought Alone really did a good job. He got 2 steals that turned into dunks. That kind of, and that's what I want our guys to understand. Like, the defense can energize the offense, because again, you're going to miss shots sometimes. It's going to be tough. Barrington came out. He's 1 for 7 from the field today, but that doesn't mean he can't be a great defender for us. And I thought Alone got us going. I thought Jalen Holland got in the lane a little bit. I thought, we had some guys that Felix, I think, really played well defensively. He's the one guy. When he's guarding the ball and there's a ball screen, I feel confident he's going to get through it, because he's physical and he's tough and he's strong. We need to have 5-6 guys like Felix, and then we'll be better defensively. But Alone, I thought, really got us going with his pressure in the passing lanes, because we wanted pressure on the ball. We also wanted pressure in the passing lanes, but we didn't get either of that in the first half.
Coach, you had 6 different guys in double figures tonight, 4 of them being freshmen. What does that mean for this team?
Well, again, we're deep. We've got quality depth. We're talented. That freshman class is really a talented group. So, but one thing I know about freshmen is they're up and they're down. They're up and they're down. They're going to have good games and bad games, and and so for us as a coaching staff, we got to maybe go with the guys that are playing well that night. But I always start in practice. I always start in practice, and we've had 15 practices and 2 inter-squad scrimmages. So we took, we just did a self-assessment with our team where they assess each other, and that, so I'm taking information from our practices and those assessments from the coaching staff, the assessments that the players make on themselves, and eventually we'll get set in a rotation. Today we played 13 guys. We're obviously not going to do that on November 3rd against Montana State, but we did today because I want, and some guys got more minutes than others, but we didn't play anybody heavy minutes today. So my message to them as young guys is, like, don't count the time you're out there, just make the time count that you're out there. And if guys can play with that mindset and not worry about, because they're all coming from their high schools or, prep schools or whatever, where they played a lot and they never really had to come off the bench or sit a lot, and that's going to be an adjustment for some of those guys. But who can make that mental adjustment is going to tell me who can really help this team this year, because you can only start 5 guys. But I like the depth of this team, and I think the balance is good as long as we share the ball and move the ball. 15 turnovers is too much against a team that doesn't really pressure and played some zone against us. So again, taking care of the ball was an issue last year, and 15 is too many today. So lots of stuff to learn from. But I love this team. I really do. I like their spirit, and I think you saw it in the second half.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask specifically about your, centers. It seems like, offensively they weren't too involved in the game plan. But what did you see from them on the defensive end?
Well, what's interesting about this team is our centers all have different skill sets. So Elijah is a really good low post scorer, and he, when he gets the ball down there, he's a presence. And so teams either have to double him or he's going to usually score or get fouled. 8 times out of 10, he's pretty efficient down there. Taco is a great ball screen rim roller kind of guy. BD can do multiple things. He can ball screen, he can roll the rim. He's a lob threat. He can also pick and pop a little bit. He didn't play as well as he's capable of playing today on either side of the ball. But Leo comes off the bench. Alone can play that 5 spot for us too. Play kind of small ball. He's got a different skill set maybe than Taco does or Leo does. We wanted to get all of them kind of a look today. But each center we have, and that's one of the things we've been working on in practice only for the last couple days, is who are you playing with and what's the skill set of that 5-man, of that center, and let's play to their strength. And the other 4 guys are spacing the floor, moving the ball, and we're dribbling it way too much right now. We're not passing, we're not cutting well enough, we're not screening well enough. So we got a long way to go, but we got some talented dudes.
Tad, I know the lineup today doesn't mean anything for the lineup on November 3rd, but
Yep.
you've talked about playing Barrington and Isaiah together.
Yeah.
The way Isaiah is playing, is that maybe evolving from a possible wrinkle to, one of the regular features of your rotation, having those 2
I think they'll be on the floor how many minutes a game, we really haven't gotten down to that. It might be based on who we're playing, lineups, matchups defensively. Obviously with Sebi out today, it kind of opened up a guy in an extra spot, because he'll most likely start when he gets back and healthy. So I love playing 2-point guards together. We did that my first year when we had Corey and Nate. They were both really good point guards, and Alec could have really run the point as well. So we really had 3 on the floor that could pass, dribble, shoot, and we're a lot more difficult to guard when you have that. But I thought Josiah played much better in the second half. I thought Andrew Crawford did some good things in the second half. Jalen Holland, I thought he exerts his will offensively on the defense. So, yeah, we've got multiple weapons there on the perimeter for sure. But Isaiah and Barrington they'll be on the floor some together this year for sure. I don't know how much, but today obviously we started that lineup.
You get to play a team from the NAI level where you expect every guy to be able to shoot. Most guys are 6'5" to 6'7". They
Yeah.
cut well, kind of do all the little things right. What are you able to learn when you play a team like that and you kind of see your more talented
Yeah.
physical squad?
We got to be more disciplined, without a doubt. I mean, we got back cut for layups. We gave up wide open threes. We fouled too much in the second half. Silly fouls, 60, 70 feet from the ball, from the basket. I mean, we got to be more disciplined defensively against those because we're going to play different types of teams this year. We're going to play really skilled teams like Grace was, and those kids are all from Indiana, so they're pretty good fundamentally, and they can shoot the ball. So that's why playing this game was good, because then there's other teams you play that may not be as skilled, but man, they crash the glass and they pound it. Well, guess what? You better compete on the glass. And that's, again, we did a better job of that in the second half and the first half. But you take each game, and this is just, one of them, it's an exhibition, it doesn't count. But it's an opportunity for our guys to learn, hey, if you're not disciplined, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Like an NAIA team, Division II team, Big 12 team, Big Sky team, they're going to make you look bad if you're not disciplined. You're going to foul, or you're going to get back cut for layups. You're going to get beat off the bounce. We've got to guard the ball better. Your ball screen defense has to be intact. So those are the things you got to take from this, and our players need to take it from this, because sometimes when coach talks about it in practice, it's like, yeah, whatever. But when it happens out there, when you're playing somebody else, it's like, all right, you better start learning. Because the one thing I'll have this year as a coach is I'll have some options and choices that are quality options and choices.
Okay, last question.
Coach, the team only had 4 free throw attempts in the first half,
Mm-hmm.
compared to 21 in the second half. It seemed like there was an emphasis on attacking the rim.
Yeah.
Was that true?
Absolutely, yeah. Because what do we settle? You settle for jump shots, and when you settle for jump shots and they don't go in, and you don't offensive rebound, we missed 23 shots in the first half. We had 5 offensive rebounds. So I don't know how many offensive rebounds we had in the second half, but because we only had 4, but we made more shots. But we missed 23 shots. We got to have 10 to 12 offensive rebounds, not 5. And so, yeah, getting to the free throw line, attacking the rim, playing inside out, that was definitely something we talked about at halftime, and they did a much better job of that. And so we got to the free throw line. It's amazing when you attack the rim, you get to the free throw line, or you get layups, or you get kick-out threes. So, yeah, it's pretty simple when it comes down to it, but our guys don't always do simple. Sometimes they want to try to do things the hard way, and when we do that, we're gonna suffer, because the game's a simple game. We got to make simple plays.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.